Um, I'm sorry. I want to hear the story in person. Can you tell about the competition between you and Nathan, and you know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry if you've told it so many times you're sick of it.
Has anybody not heard the story? You are all liars. You are liars.
This is your first time to Chicago, so most of us have never seen it before.
Oh, please. It's on YouTube. I know it is. All right. I'll make this quick. So, Nathan and I don't even know how it started. We started flipping each other the bird on set, on Firefly. And we would like come up with all these creative ways of doing it. Like he had, you know, the wind up finger. And then he had like the one where you put the scarf over and you do the abracadabra and then he'd whip out the scarf. And then he became kind of obsessed. And he had given me this little box, this little jewelry box with a butterfly on it. He was like, I got you something because I really like you and you make me laugh and it's so great working with you and I just got you a little something. And I was like, Nathan, that's so sweet. And I lifted off the lid and he cut a hole in the bottom and then just stuck his finger in it. So then we were staying at his house sometime later over Valentine's Day, and I had slipped a card in his mailbox so it looked like somebody knew where he lived, and it was this really creepy Valentine, and I'd written this really creepy poem, and he was like, oh my god, and started to get all freaked out, and there was another little envelope in the card, and he opened it, and it was a picture of me going like this, which he still has framed, and he just moved into a new house, and he still has it there in his new house, framed and everything. So then we finished the movie, we finished Serenity, and we were all at the wrap party, and we were watching the blooper reel. And at the end of the blooper reel, there was a message from the editor saying, thanks so much. And all of a sudden this thing popped up, and it said, for Jewel. And this Caleb doll from Buffy, Nathan essentially, pops up into the frame and goes like this. So then, that year, was it that year? Might have been the next year. No, it was that year. We went to CyphanCon, and we were doing this Q&A. My friend Peter David, he's a writer, he's also evil like me, and he decided to help me out with this thing, so he started passing out flyers and told the crowd that when Jewel gives the signal, I want you to stand up and flip Nathan the bird. So we're doing this Q&A, I think there was like 3,000 people there or something. It's a big room. And Nathan's directing the Q&A, because he thinks he's the captain still. And Peter holds up his hand for a question, and Nathan goes, you, sir. And Peter gets up and he says, Nathan, we salute you. And all 3,000 people stood up and went like this. And he was like, I mean, how can you top that?
It's Nathan, he'll find a way.
I think I won that one fair and square, but he is also very devious, and he's the type of person who does wait years for revenge. So I'm always scanning the room to see if he's hiding somewhere, because I'm sure he will get me back, because that's Nathan Fillion. So that's the finger story. There you go. All right. Who else has a question? Anybody? Yeah.
While filming Trio, Amanda Tapping had a lot of great stories of you and David Hewlett being stuck in that room, particularly the Stargate Atlantis musical. Have you got any stories from that set?
That week was crazy. We did this episode called Trio on Stargate Atlantis. We were trapped in this room, and it was built on this hydraulic system, so the room would tilt because we're supposed to be experiencing all these earthquakes. And it was tough. The room was super dusty and smoky, and there was no air, and we were filthy, and it was just gross. And the sandwiches would get all dirty. And, but we had the best time. It was Amanda Tapping, and David Hewlett and I, and me, yeah. And we just laughed. We laughed and laughed for a week, and we would ruin all these takes, just laughing hysterically, and I don't know if it's because there wasn't enough oxygen in the room, or whatever, but we were just dying laughing. I remember the kids that were peeking into the hole, they were so professional, and they knew all their lines, and they were great, and we were laughing during their off-camera, and I felt so, like, we were like children. We were like crying with laughter. I felt so bad for these kids. Horrible thing to do. But we decided that if the show didn't go for a 5th season, David was going to write a musical, a Stargate Atlantis musical, and we would perform it at like a dinner theater. And he had all these songs that, like, it was hilarious. You have to get him to do it, because I can't even remember, but like, there's a song about the Wraith, where he's like, the Wraith are a very important race, and he just goes off. And I don't know, for some reason, we thought this was the most hysterical thing that ever happened. So we would just be dying laughing, crying in the corner. But yeah, that was a crazy week. I think we lost a lot of brain cells. Probably. Anyone else have a question? Really? Nobody? Yes.
On Da Vinci's Inquest, it says that you in one of the episodes played the piano. Was that actually you playing, or was that another?
That was me playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom made me take piano lessons when I was a kid for a lot of years, and I think I quit around 14 or 15, which I really wish I hadn't. I think it's amazing to play an instrument, and I really wish I'd stuck with it, but I didn't. So now I'm not so good. But on Da Vinci, they were like, do you remember any piano that you could play? And I was like, okay. So I just played for Elise over and over and over again. Yeah, that was me. One of my special skills. Yeah.
You were talking about how you guys kept stuff. Did you keep anything from Atlantis?
I don't know if I did keep anything from Atlantis except those 10 pounds.
Is there a sandwich place you get these sandwiches? It sounds like
No. There is no place you can get these sandwiches or the cakes. They have the same caterers, I think, on Stargate Universe, which is pretty much the reason why I want to be on that show. Yeah. Actually, when we shot Doomsday up in Vancouver, we went to the Bridge Studios for our wardrobe fittings and things like that, and I secretly looked for the caterers, but they weren't there. They were on location that day.